Grindelwald has always been a dream destination for us to visit, and we finally made it. Out of all of our Swiss destinations, this was the one that we were the most excited for. Grindelwald is a popular destination in Switzerland, and it is rightly known as the adventure capital of the Alps. As soon as we arrived in our hotel, we dropped our bags and set out to one of the trails right behind our hotel room. It was an easy hike right before lunch, and we could not believe the views we were able to get just outside of the town. As we continued on, the sound of splashing water started getting louder and louder. We knew we were close to our destination. I don't know if it was the time of day or the way the light was hitting the mountains, but the ranges looked imposing and stunning. And finally, we got to the waterfall, which is not a bad way to start off our trip. This particular hike took us less than half an hour, and there are many like it everywhere, which is why it's also helpful to carry a map. Many of the trails intersect, and it's easy to lose your way. This was definitely a worthy way of spending our first few hours in Grindelwald. Not only did we get to see beautiful sceneries, but I was also able to bust out the drone for some aerial footage. The following morning, we got up super early to catch a train to Interlaken to take part in an activity that I have been looking forward our whole trip. It looks like God's on our side today, and we have been blessed with particularly great weather. The train ride from Grindelwald to Interlaken is fairly quick, but the view of the mountains and lakes makes it one of the more scenic ones in Switzerland. Interlaken is located between two alpine lakes, Lake Leman and Lake Brienz. The strategic location of this city makes it the perfect access point to all the mountainous regions of Switzerland. Interlaken is a visual wonderland for any visitor, but it is so much more than that. It is also the adventure capital of the Alps, and the best way to discover that is through experience. Our activity for today is paragliding over the Alps. We went with a company called Paraglide Interlaken, and honestly, they were amazing. They do a really good job at keeping you well entertained during the experience, but honestly, it was still a bit nerve-wracking once you walk over to the takeoff point. Right here is where the nerves hit. We didn't know if we were more excited than nervous or vice versa. One thing was for sure though, we were not backing out. They tell you to run full speed to catch the air before a daunting cliff awaits in front of you. Once you hit the air though, the fear is gone and it's all gravy from then on. Being able to experience the Alps from this perspective has to be truly one of the best visual experiences in the world. The way the mountains, lakes, and forests unfold from a bird's eye view is quite unique, and I lack the words to describe its true beauty. The following morning we were back in Grindelwald, ready to jump onto our next adventure. This time we were going to Grindelwald First. Grindelwald First is the perfect starting point to a lot of hikes in the Burnt Oberland. The views of the Alps you are able to get from here are unique and breathtaking. It is very common to see cows, sheep, goats, and other farm animals herding in the mountains. There are many streams that run down from the glaciers in higher elevations, and because of that, the landscape stays rich with nutrients, which allow lichen and plants to grow against harsh weather conditions. I wonder if that's the reason why Switzerland produces superior cheese and other milk products. This is just my own scientific speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. Our destination was Lake Bischofsee. The views from that area were breathtaking and worth the hike and price of admission. For me personally, this has been one of the most beautiful places I have been to. The way the colors are so vibrant here is unexplainable. Being here allowed me to take some of the best photos and film of anywhere else so far. And I had to bring out the drone for some aerial shots that I'm very happy to share here with you. Grindelwald First is also known as the Top of Adventure. That's because there's an amusement park of sorts up there. There you can bungee jump and ride a cable-style freefall ride called Fierce Flight. There you're hosted up the mountain by a cable and dropped on freefall to the bottom. It was truly an exhilarating experience, but I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't catch any footage. Our next destination was directly located to the other side of the mountain from Grindelwald. This town is called Lauterbrunnen and is known for its beautiful waterfalls and classic Bavarian vibes. Even though Lauterbrunnen is not too far from Grindelwald geographically, there's a certain style that makes it feel completely different from its sister town. And to add to that, Interlaken feels completely different from both as well. When they call this town the Valley of the 72 Waterfalls, they really mean it. There's waterfalls as far as the eye can see. There's some behind us and in front of us, truly a magical and unique piece of geography. Lauterbrunnen has many restaurants to eat on the town and lots of gift shops for tourists. And for those who like adventure, there are many trailheads at the end of the road, one of which leads to an underground waterfall. Anyone who's been to Yosemite and Switzerland can attest to this, or maybe disagree with me, but Lauterbrunnen and overall the Berner Oberland region feels like Yosemite times 100 without the rude crowds and trash. Lauterbrunnen was a delight to film. The town is very picturesque. Lots of homes are adorned with flowers of all colors and varieties of flags. We decided to visit the underground waterfalls of Trummelbach. The cascades that run through these chasms are the highest subterranean waterfalls in the world, and it happens to be relatively close to Lauterbrunnen. Trummelbach Falls is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is one of the few subterranean waterfalls you can visit. It's composed of a total of 10 waterfalls that are fed from the snow melt from the Eiger and Jungfrau glaciers. Seeing the imposing power of nature in action is amazing. There's a section while exploring the waterfalls where you are required to take a mining elevator a few hundred feet underground. It could be unsettling for people who are claustrophobic, like myself, but honestly it's worth exploring if you're able to overcome your fears. If you're anywhere around Lauterbrunnen, I highly suggest stopping by Trummelbach Falls. It's truly a unique place. If you visit the mountainous region of Bern and want to go about exploring, you will find yourself coming back to Interlaken quite a bit. It's the most convenient train station, and it doesn't hurt that the town is really beautiful. For lunch, we decided to go to the top of Harder Kulm. You can choose to take a tram that takes you up the mountain almost vertically, or you can hike up here. Here you can get some incredible views of Interlaken. The top of Harder Kulm is a popular destination that gives all its visitors a great view of the whole of Interlaken. Definitely worth a visit if you're in town. The next activity in the itinerary was a visit to the Jungfraujoch, which is the highest accessible point in the continent. Jungfraujoch is the first World Natural Heritage Site in the Alps, and it is also the highest-most railway station in Europe. This alone makes it a most visited place in the Bernese Oberland, but there's a lot more that makes this place special. The train that brings you up here is equipped with enhancements that allow it to climb through a network of tunnels carved inside the mountains. Swiss engineering knows no limit, or so it seems. Once at the top of the station, we are met with an incredible view of the Jungfrau Glacier. The sunlight is intense, especially as it's reflected by the snow. Even still, the view is majestic. The elevation of this station is so high that you can see the clouds very far down below. You can also exit the station and hike to the peaks of the Jungfrau. There are many experienced hikers that traverse the glaciers that also use this station as their starting point for their expeditions. Many world governments also cooperate in this station to track weather events and other outer space phenomena, which is very interesting work. Believe it or not, there's many things to do up here, as this station is very large with many restaurants and shops, and even a chocolate factory, which is obviously the highest chocolate factory in Europe. Switzerland was truly amazing, and we thank you for traveling with us. Stay tuned for the next journey. Adios!